Um, we are so fortunate today to have Lesley Bouza with us. She is a music therapist, and we are going to be really given some great education and entertainment from Lesley this afternoon. So, thank you so much for joining us. I do want to remind you of some of what Room 217 has to offer you. Here's our suite of 8 core programs to improve your music care knowledge and skills available for you all the time. So we have our virtual learning studio, which is our online classroom offering music care courses for your own independent study. We've got our music care training, which is coming up. Our next training is in February. Of course, our webinars are every second Wednesday. We also are available for speakers days, skills days, and our fantastic resource page is updated constantly with new blogs, articles, and lots of other resources. So as I said, our music care training we have our level 1 coming up February 11th and 12th. Our level 2 is March 26th and 27th. And then we have our level 3. Those are individually organized through Tanya. So these are continuing education certificates for caregivers, but they're for professional caregivers, volunteers, and family caregivers. Anyone who wants to learn about the intentional use of music in care settings. So all the training is virtual, but we are able to organize exclusives. And here's some upcoming webinars. Our February webinar is another music therapist. Her name is Jennifer Buchanan. She runs JB Music Therapy, and that's February 11th. That's super exciting. Beverly is excited. We're all excited. Our March webinar is with Judy Keith, and she's an audiologist, and she's sharing music and hearing. She's been with us before, but this is part 2. In April, we have Dr. Noreen Sumar. She's a music and medicine physician. And so it's going to be so interesting to have a physician's perspective on bringing music into care. So we are very out there in social media. We encourage you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, so you can use your phone, your camera phone, to link directly to any one of these sites. So give us a follow. We're updating all the time. So Lesley is going to be talking to us today about engaging communities through through arts programming. And I'm going to hand over the mic to Tanya, who's going to give us a little bio, tell us a little bit more about Lesley.
Sure. So, a Canadian vocalist, accredited music therapist, and voice teacher, Lesley Bouza is happiest when she's using music to connect to others, whether it be from the stage, in healthcare settings, or in her communities. Lesley completed her vocal performance studies at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama and her master's in music therapy at Wilfrid Laurier University. She is in demand as both a soloist and ensemble singer and takes great pleasure in singing music in a variety of genres from pop to musical theater to jazz to classical styles. In her work as a music therapist and music wellness facilitator, Lesley is passionate about the potential of music to support community, identity, and general well-being in various and diverse client populations. She has a particular interest in using music to support mental health for individuals and groups from every age and walk of life. And I'll hand it off to you, Lesley.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. I'd like to start off first by acknowledging that I'm speaking to you from the traditional and unceded land of several Indigenous nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and land that is currently home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. For many of these people, music was and is an important part of cultural life, used in spiritual and healthcare practices to support identity, for entertainment, and to support social connections, and of course, so much more. And in the tradition of many of these people who came before me on this land, I too have used music in a variety of different contexts, most often in using music to support community. I've worked in healthcare spaces, in social support spaces with nonprofits and arts organizations. And today I'm really happy to share some of the strategies that have served me well and that I hope you may be able to adapt to serve you in some of the spaces that you're in.
Leslie,
Because, yes,
Leslie, sorry,
yes.
your talking is very quiet.
Is it very quiet? Okay,
Yeah, you
let me
might want to
see.
turn that up.
Do you know what? I might switch to some wired in headphones. That might be
I
better.
could see you, Beverly. I could see you trying to go like this.
Let me switch my. Let's try this. All right. Can you all hear me? How about now? Can you hear me?
Hear you, but it's still.
Very light.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a little bit better.
Is it a bit better?
Yeah.
Mm, let's see. Wouldn't be an online webinar if there weren't some technical
I know. It's only
difficulties.
been 5 years, right?
Okay. All right. It looks like my headphones are not being recognized either, so I'm just going to try to speak up. Is that all right?
That's
And
perfect.
use the speaker or the microphone that is in my computer. All right.
That's
So,
perfect. Thank you.
with that dealt with, so because my background is very much grounded in my training as a singer, I frequently rely on my voice to connect with people. And for those of you who don't have a great comfort level with singing, I know that that can be kind of a loaded topic sometimes. There's a lot of flexibility within these strategies. So don't worry, I won't require anyone to unmute and sing on this webinar or anything like that. Uh, but I hope that some of these strategies and what we're going to talk about today will empower some of you to maybe use your voice a little bit in some of the settings that you're in. So we'll be saving some time at the end of the hour for questions, and there will be some interactive moments during the webinar. I do hope that you feel comfortable to participate either in the chat or by unmuting and responding to some prompts that I have for you over the course of the webinar. I also want to make sure you're all comfortable over the course of this presentation, and if some of the discussion brings up any kind of uncomfortable or unexpected emotions, I want you all to feel that you can do what you need to do to support yourself and to participate at a level that you feel most comfortable. So, with that kind of housekeeping done, let's start off with strategy number one, which is under the umbrella of language. And to start this off, I'd like for you to all to use the chat, and I'd like you to write in the chat a greeting in a language or multiple languages if you're familiar with multiple languages. Feel free to write multiple greetings in. If there's a language that you're inspired by or you think is beautiful and you don't know a greeting in that language, feel free to Google it quickly and toss it in the chat there. I'll give you all a moment to do that while I pull up my chat box here. Any greeting at all. Doesn't have to be a language you're fluent in either. I'll start us off. give another moment or so. I know we're a small group, so we probably won't have too many represented, but give anyone a last chance if anyone's looking something up. Beautiful. Spelling does not have to be correct. We're not going to judge anyone on spelling. But as we see some of these greetings show up on the chat, what does that tell you about this little community that we have right here, about the communities that we're living in and that we're working in? Feel free to unmute and participate with any discussions or write in the chat as well.
I'm just going to unmute, throw myself in.
Yeah.
I'm a participant. Hi, Lesley. I miss you very much.
Hello. It's nice to see a familiar face here.
Right? So I think the biggest thing is that we've people from all sorts of different backgrounds, different experiences. And even if you have two people who may present similarly or seem like they are from a similar community, they might not be, right? So French, which is my actual first language in Ontario, and French in Quebec and French in New Brunswick are all very different. And so just that has variety to it, right? So French is not French is not French is not French. There's a variety to that, and there's a variety to the experiences with it.
Yes, thank you, Anne. Thank you for that. Variety, I see a note in the chat. We live in a global context, which we do, especially in Canada as a whole. And if you're in any of the major kind of city centers in Canada, even more so. So I know that for a lot of folks who work in care, they might think of this as a language barrier. There might be language barriers. And with that in mind, that it is a practical kind of challenge in a lot of these settings, language is deeply personal and deeply important to every individual. A person's first language or their mother tongue is connected to their sense of home, of belonging, of acceptance. And when you make even the slightest attempt to connect to someone in their own language, you are affirming their identity and their personhood. Not to be a little cliche, but I have a quote by Nelson Mandela, which I just think is very apt for this topic. And that is, if you speak to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you speak to him in his language, that goes to his heart. So the idea of having multiple languages is maybe not something that's realistic for some of our care settings. We're not all multilingual. We might have one other language. If we're lucky enough, we pick up languages easier, and we have multiple languages. But that language that you're first taught, that is your first language, your mother tongue, is always going to be the one that you kind of feel in. For anyone who's ever tried to pick up a second language, I speak a very little bit of Spanish because my family is from Spain. And anytime I'm operating Spanish, I'm so busy trying to understand what's being said, correct my grammar. It's a very cerebral activity. Whereas when I'm communicating in English, which is my mother tongue, I can connect emotionally and with more of my heart. So, with that said, how do we make an effort to break down some of these barriers in some of these care settings? In Toronto, where I live and work, I have found myself very often in a room full of people with a different first language from myself, and often a room full of people who have different first languages from each other. And sometimes these people are put into a room because they have one kind of characteristic in common. They might have different ages, experiences, lives, but because they share one thing in common, maybe it's a health challenge, maybe they've been lumped into an age category, maybe they're all newcomers to Canada, they've been kind of put together in this group. And it's hard initially to see beyond anything but that one characteristic. Sharing language within a group like this can help to open the door to finding new ways to connect. So within this language strategy, I have kind of an activity that I call sharing a word. So I'm going to share this kind of activity with you and hope that it might be something that you would feel comfortable using in your own care spaces or contexts. So this strategy has 3 steps. The first step is to pick a word. It could be a word like hello, it could be a greeting, it could be the word peace, it could be a word that is brainstormed by the group, by the community, just one word. And that's the first step, to pick the word. The second step of the strategy is to have everyone in the group teach the rest of the group how to say the translation of that word in their own language. So each person gets their own time to be the teacher. They pronounce the word, have the group repeat it back, make sure that the teacher is comfortable with the pronunciation they're hearing, any detail, and let that person really take ownership of teaching this word to the rest of the group. Sometimes it might be a couple of people in the group who speak the word and they might collaborate, but really take the time to honor that word in that particular language so that the whole group knows it. When I do this, I like to jot down a phonetic spelling of the word to use as a resource later and go one by one through the group until all the languages have been taught. If it's a multi-session group, I might do little refreshers each time. We might do one language a week. Structure it however you see fit. But once you have all of the words in all of the languages, then you get to decide how you're going to use this translation. So because I'm a music therapist, my usage of the word usually involves putting those words into some kind of song. But you don't have to have a song. It could be chanted, it could be spoken in rhythm, they could be written down in an artistic way. Whatever is in your comfort level, whatever is appropriate for your community, get as creative as you like. But I will say it's a privilege to watch someone share their expertise in their mother tongue and to watch a group of relative strangers try their very best to pronounce a new, unfamiliar word. Sometimes the word involves sounds that the participants are unfamiliar with. Those sounds might not exist in the participants' language. Sometimes there are tonal considerations in a language that might be a new experience for folks. But that back and forth, that collaboration, and the genuine desire to do their best to pronounce this word is what really makes this collaboration work. And it's palpable in the room, in my experience, when I've done this. So for now, I'd like to share a short song that it's kind of amalgamation of a couple of different groups that I did this activity with. And it's to the tune that you might find familiar. It's to the tune Edelweiss. So that's something to take home, is that you do not need to write new music to write a song with these words. It can be a tune that the group knows or that you're familiar with and that you feel comfortable teaching. So I'll sing through this little verse twice so you really get to hear these beautiful words and these beautiful languages. So it goes like this. Amai thee beka shake sukun sula idini hoping whopping pe path salam amai shake sukun sula idini hoping whopping pe salam. So that's just a thank you. A little short example. It features the word peace in the following languages: Tamil, Hungarian, Urdu, Farsi, Greek, Mandarin, Cantonese, French, Spanish, English, and Arabic. So I was taught these words by a few different kind of combinations of groups that I've worked with, by native speakers of these languages, along with other participants of the groups. So, this language teaching and sharing experience led to conversations about the languages, about their cultures. It led to conversations about food. It led to dance parties, similarities and differences between different cultures and languages. And from that kind of starting off place, this community blossomed into a safe space where this group could share their hopes, their fears, their difficulties that they were having in their life, the joys in their life, and the language barrier never evaporated. It was always there. Google Translate is always a very well used tool in these settings, but the human connection was so much more important than the language barrier that it didn't really matter. I saw true friendships come out of some of these groups from people who don't speak each other's languages. And I can't say enough about this very simple activity strategy, and I hope that it's something you might be able to try with some of your spaces. And it's so flexible. Tailor it to what will work for you. It doesn't have to result in you singing a song or your group singing a song if they're not comfortable doing that. But see how you can use these words in all these beautiful languages that exist, in our country, in our cities, and in our communities. So that is strategy number one. And I see the time is racing on so quickly, so we're going to jump into strategy number two. And strategy number two involves lyrics. So most of the time, when someone is singing, they're singing lyrics. Of course, there are wordless vocal songs that use ooh or ah, or of course, la la la. But usually there are lyrics. For some people, lyrics are what make connection to music. There are individuals who don't connect with a song until they know the words or what they mean. Lyrics can completely change the character of a song. A song might sound happy until you read the words, and then you find it's something completely different. Lyrics are also full of metaphor. And metaphor is wonderful in spaces where folks may be hesitant about speaking about their experiences or their emotions. For example, singing a song or sharing a song about waves and water and being under the water and drowning might be safer than sharing feelings of sadness, of depression, of overwhelm. It's a safe way to communicate some of those things without outright saying, I am sad, I am depressed, I am overwhelmed. It Lyrics in groups can help people to identify themselves within groups, identify the purpose of a group, and identify what the group means to each member. So those of you who have taken level 1 of music care might be familiar with the sharing the song strategy and also the fill in the blank lyric strategy and for songwriting. So hopefully this serves as a bit of a reminder of how important lyrics can be and how useful and flexible they can be. And the flexibility of lyrics is one of the great things about them. So a couple of activities that I've just jotted down here that use lyrics primarily. Choose a song and analyze the lyrics. Write or print out the lyrics, circle the words that feel meaningful for the group, and allow the words to conjure up imagery. Change the lyrics in a song to make it more personal. Choose a song that already connects to the community, and pick and choose lyrics to make it even more relevant. Invite participants who are not comfortable singing to speak lyrics as if they're poetry. And illustrate lyrics with other artistic modalities. Painting, markers, clay, dance. There's so much flexibility that comes with interacting artistic modalities. We may be in a music-based webinar, but that doesn't mean that music is the only art form that's out there that you can use in your communities. And let your communities tell you what they're interested in. If you have participants who you know do art or dance or any other types of modalities, invite them to share, invite them to collaborate on hey, what do you think we could do with a song? I know you were a dancer, I know you like to draw. Be flexible and creative. So I thought we'd do a little sharing a song exercise. So I have a song that I'm going to share with you all, and I'm going to have the lyrics stream across the screen as we go, and then I'm going to ask you some questions about the song. Oh, looks like I need to reopen that window because it's just a Zoom logo right now. That's better. All right, so here we go.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. You'll always have my shoulder when you cry. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. You know you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh. You can count on me 'cause I can count on you.
All right, so we're gonna share responses to that song. You can either put them in the chat, or because we're a small group, we can unmute, just have folks unmute. But I'd like you to kind of keep your response that you share within the context of how might you use this song to support a community? What messages do you get from this song? And how do you think it might describe a community? So please feel free to enter in the chat or just unmute and let us know any thoughts you might have.
So, in my context, I perform at seniors' residences, And often in my patter, I'm aiming to help people stimulate memories, activate memories, caress them, and specifically feelings. So I love this song, and it's not in our repertoire. I don't know if my partner would be up for adding this, but I can see this as sometimes I'll tell a personal story about someone. I might say something like, when I first heard this song, I thought my friend Joe, my husband was already gone, but and I just tell about, I just to have someone that I can really count on. Or I might say something like, I've noticed because some places I get to know the people. I said, I notice a lot of interdependence here. And, maybe there's just someone that you really feel appreciative about, and this song will help cultivate that. So something like that.
Yes,
That's
I think
that's my
that's
first
perfect.
response.
That would be a great use of this song and these lyrics. I see a few things in the chat. The importance of friendship in schools um, reminds me of strong bonds throughout my life. Yeah. Importance of helping one another in the workplace as a community researcher and collaborator. Yeah, having those people that you can count on in your community um, and knowing no matter what happens that you're in it together and that you can count on each other, not just one-sided. It goes both ways. Any other thoughts before I share a little bit about can generate remembering and storytelling? Absolutely. So asking a group, like I think Beverly was also alluding to, like who's someone that you've been able to count on in your life. So lyrics can be used as this kind of jumping off point. um and the song is immediately community building. Absolutely. That that to share, the first time I heard this song was in a group that I was in a healthcare setting. So it was a group of folks who had all been given the same diagnosis, and they met weekly in kind of a support group type setting. I was taking over from another facilitator. This group had been going on for years, and this was their anthem. So at either the beginning or the end of the session, they would sing this song together. We'd either I would play it on guitar or piano, and everyone in this group would sing it at the top of their lungs. And as the chorus came, the I can count on you, like count on me, like 1, 2, 3. They'd look at each other, they would hold hands, and it was just so clear that this song was such a great example, or a way for them to express how they felt about each other. Um, and this group had been there for each other through thick and thin, through setbacks. Unfortunately, we had lost some members of the group due to this particular illness, and the profound relationships that were in this group was really highlighted and illustrated through the lyrics of this song. Any other thoughts anyone might want to share before we move on to the next? It could help you communicate a bond in a way that feels safe. Yes, perhaps less vulnerable than a raw discussion. My first I love you was in lyrics. Absolutely, yeah. So in this particular group, it was a pretty even mix of all the genders, I would say. And, we had kind of burly men who you wouldn't expect to, historically express themselves in this way, singing this song and looking at the folks around them, and being able to express that emotion through those words, for sure. All right, as our time is going on, I want to quickly jump to our next strategy. And that next strategy is vocalizing. Now, I want to put it to you, why do you think I chose the word vocalizing rather than singing?
Lots of people think they cannot sing, have been told they cannot sing, or the concept of singing then is shared language, same language, words, formulating words, negates anybody who has aphasia, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm,
It's
absolutely.
much
So,
more universal, open.
yes. So, singing is a hugely loaded term in the context of Canadian society, North American society, a lot of kind of what you would call Western society. So, that is one reason. Singing is about performance. Yeah, that's Another part, I sing in a choir, but I'm terrified to sing by myself. Yeah, no problem. Feel free to share in the chat. Not a problem. There's one other
Awesome.
reason that I chose the word vocalizing rather than singing.
Yeah. Well, what came to mind for me is when I work with residents, there are different types of vocalizing, and they are a form of communication. Even
Hmm.
it's like, oh, 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 and I'm with them on that. We interact in communicative manners with all sorts of vocalization.
Yes, so vocalization in itself can be therapeutic. It doesn't have to be even closely resembling singing. Just the act of vocalizing has therapeutic properties, or benefits, potential benefits. But to go back to the singing as a loaded term, there's an idea in our culture that only those who are trained should sing, or who have beautiful voices should sing, or who can sing in tune or reach certain notes. There's a very long list, and I'm sure many of us have heard people say, I can't sing, or have had stories from their childhood that's, oh, I was told in school not to sing. Um, Really, almost all of us can sing. If you can speak, you have the mechanisms that you need to sing. With that being said, um, if you don't feel comfortable singing and you're working with groups that don't feel comfortable singing, vocalizing could be the next kind of adjacent thing that brings a lot of the similar benefits to singing. So, we know that using our voices is good for us. There are innumerable studies that have demonstrated the physiological benefits of vocalizing, the emotional benefits, spiritual, social benefits as well, depending on the context. So, I'm going to lead us through a little bit of an exercise to kind of have us quickly experience some of these benefits. Let's see immediately if some of us can have this experience right now together. So, whatever space you're in, whether you're sitting or standing, find a place where you just kind of feel grounded. It doesn't have to be particularly. I don't believe in singing posture. Just feel grounded. Feel like whatever you're sitting on, standing on is supporting you. And make sure you're sitting in a way that you can feel that your breath has room to expand. And then, if it's comfortable, put your hands kind of at the base of your neck, on your throat, kind of where your neck meets your chest, kind of resting on your collarbones. And if it feels safe for you to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. And take in a deep breath. And on the exhale, make some kind of a sound. A sigh, a hum, whatever comes naturally. And do that a few more times. In between deep breaths, take breaks. We don't want anyone getting lightheaded, which can happen if you're suddenly breathing deeply. So, at your own pace, however it feels comfortable, take in a few breaths and then exhale. On a sigh. On a hum. And as you go, try to make that sound even more powerful, even more prominent, and elongate it as much as you can. As you vocalize on your exhale, feel the vibration in your hands from your throat. Feel your face relax and feel your breath expand every time you breathe in and release every time you breathe out. Let's do that one more time in our own spaces. We're going to do one little change now. Instead of singing or vocalizing a sigh or a hum, vocalize the word calm and stay on the M for a while. Calm. A few more times. Calm. Last time. Calm. And gently, if you had your eyes closed, open them. Come back to the room, to our Zoom room here, to the space. Shake it out if you need to. What was that little moment like? What did you experience? What were some physical or emotional sensations you experienced? Peaceful? Yeah. Anything that kind of makes you stop and breathe in feels relaxing and peaceful. Did help my central nervous system settle a little. Yeah. And while this isn't a universal experience, some people don't um, enjoy this experience. I find most people do. Um, and there are reasons for that. Vocalizing is like a tiny massage. Those vibrations travel from your vocal folds. Grounding is hard for me with ADHD. Sound helps. Yeah. Yep. Those vibrations travel through your body and they trigger your brain to release messages of safety, calm, happiness. This type of activity has been shown to lower blood pressure, heart rate, breathing rate. Over time, if it's done consistently, vocalization can improve sleep, immune response, and more. As far as the emotional benefits, those same triggers, that's those same messages that your brain is sending, have the potential to ease anxiety, feelings of sadness, treat panic attacks, and diffuse anger. And those are just some kind of highlights of the benefits. If you were to kind of Google the benefits of singing or humming or vocalizing, you'd find an even larger list. Some that are evidence-based, like the ones that I just listed, and some that are probably but don't have any good concrete evidence behind them. And when vocalizing is done with other people, these feelings can be shared, resulting in not only those physiological and emotional benefits, but a social one. And in the context of faith and connecting to something beyond ourselves, they can also have a spiritual benefit to vocalize together. Either of these exercise or any of these vocal exercises, the hum, the calm, can be done with any group of people, really. I've done vocalizing activities with people of all ages, abilities, levels of cognition, and even different levels of consciousness. So I encourage you to vocalize both within your comfort zone and outside of your comfort zone. Experiment a little bit, and also allow the people in your care to lead. Maybe they have ideas, maybe they can help to kind of expand your vocalizing comfort zone. The other last point I wanted to make about vocalizations is, well, we kind of did this calm, grounding, serious activity here. It doesn't have to be serious. Vocalizing can be fun and playful and goofy. It can connect with your inner child. It can create laughter. It can sound like a starting off point's an activity I do sometimes with folks is imitate animal sounds or imitate reactions, come up with big emotional reactions like surprise or shock or those sort of things. I really encourage you to explore your voice and the potential of your voice in care, using all of these strategies, using language, using lyrics, and to rely as much as you can on this built-in instrument that we all have just sitting in our bodies that we likely take for granted a little bit, and definitely I would say most people underuse. it's such a human thing to connect to another person with our voice. And I think that there's a lot of potential that we all have in using our voices. So, with that said, that is my last strategy. And this is now an open time for questions. If anyone has any questions or thoughts to share, please feel free.
A quiet group right now. Everybody's contemplating everything you just said, Lesley. Oh, Beverly.
So I'm curious, Lesley, when you're performing, would you give people, well, I guess you work in a music therapy context as well as performing possibly, but I wonder if you would give people something sometimes that they can hang on to, that they can add like an ostinato or
Oh, yes. I love doing audience participation when I'm
yeah,
performing.
how do you do that? I'd
Yeah,
just be curious to hear some examples.
oh yeah, sure. So sometimes if I'm in a setting where I have the artistic control and liberty to do so, I love getting an audience to improv along with me. I might teach kind of some simple kind of harmonies, like have the group start off, maybe get a chord like this third of the room is the base of the chord, you're the middle of the chord, you're the top of the chord, and then start off with that, and then give permission. Now see where you can move outside of that note that you've been assigned and see what happens to the sound. And I might do some kind of conducting, like, oh, you louder, you. So I do like doing things like that within a performance context as
I
well.
find audiences really, yeah, I find audiences really vary in
Yes.
terms of their
It depends
responsiveness.
on
Like,
the size. Sometimes a chant or a callback is fun to do. Teaching them a snippet of the song that comes in at certain points. Yeah.
like I've tried things like, there's this thing called echo, and in this song, watch me. Paul's gonna do the
Hmm.
word, and then we're gonna do the echo. So I try and do stuff
Hmm.
like that. It's just it's
Yeah.
all kind of new. I'm just looking for new
Right.
strategies. Another thing that I do, I use rhythm instruments, and then I'll go around, and someone will be going shake, 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 and I'll just develop a little communication with an individual. But
Yeah.
I
All
just
that
experimenting right
nonverbal,
now.
yeah, all that nonverbal communication as well is so wonderful in some of these spaces. Another thing I've used in performance spaces in kind of like long-term care and like those healthcare settings, if I'm singing something that I know everybody knows really well, I might like pause on a word and let them kind of, wait, is she gonna sing it? And then they sing it. Um, Things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So just last month, my partner, we were doing getting people to sing with us, and then but I was sharing my mic. So he got one of these mics that you can, just a handheld that you could put and I'll say, "Okay, I'm bringing my mic around, you can push it away." It's not working too well yet, but I'm looking for ways to make that, you know, there are a few
I,
people, but they don't sing out and
Hmm.
yeah.
I, I, I have another suggestion for you, actually, Bev, and because I'm an OT. I was a school therapist for some time, and so some of what happens is like instruments may feel a bit intimidating because people are like, even if it's an egg shaker, they're like, I don't know how to shake an egg. And honestly, I live with a drummer, as Lesley knows, and I actually don't know how to shake the egg right. I've been told. So um, there's a science that I'm not good at. But there are low barrier things that make noise. So for kids, we would often do things like like paper, crinkly paper, like things that are readily available in spaces, and say, look, you're making music with something you have in your room, right? So the plastic cups. There was a song out a few years ago where part of all the instrumentation was her banging the table with these cups. Well, you don't have to do it that complicated, but literally, like having them squeeze plastic cups, whatever the home uses in terms of, dishes or things that might be readily available in their rooms, and then highlight to them that they're making music with things that are just really accessible. Because sometimes the instruments can feel scary. I'm not that girl. I'll throw myself into everything, but it can feel scary. And it was really great for kids who, again, it also allows for kind of different um, grip. If somebody's had a stroke and their use is not of their primary hand, then things that require more precision, like squeezing paper doesn't require that much precision and doesn't necessarily require a dominant hand. So that's a low barrier thing that I've done before when it comes. And I wasn't being a music therapist. I used music as both a way to get energy up and a way to get energy down, and to you know help bring people into the space to connect. So
Great. Thank you, Anne, for that.
mhm.
There's always great ideas in these groups because you all have a breadth of knowledge and experience that I don't have as the presenter, and I love to hear sharing from the members of the group of what they do in their own communities. So thank you.
Does anybody have anything else to add or any questions for Lesley before we sign off for the day? I know, Lesley, you had talked to me maybe beforehand that you would put together a one pager of the strategies so that I can send. I'm going to put my email in the chat. If anybody is interested, please let me know. And once I get it, I will send it out to you. As well, if you want a CEU for the day, for the hour, sorry, please let me know and I can send that off to you. And I think on that end, we're going to sign off for the day. Thank you so much to Lesley and everybody that joined us on this already dark January day. We know that Blue Monday is coming in a few days, so hopefully this helped us a little bit to get through the blues. So thank you very much to everybody and to you, Lesley, and we'll see everybody quite probably soon.
Thank you, Lesley. It's fantastic.
My pleasure. Thanks you all for being here, and
Thanks
thanks
very much.
Room
Great
217
session.
for having me.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So good to see you, Lesley.
Tell Sean I said hi.
I will.